You're listening to Demon World with Jazz Minhas on Demon FM.
That's Gypsy from Chambers, and I've got them with me here in the studio. Hello, guys.
You're right.
Hi, guys.
Hi, welcome to Demon FM. First of all, if I just get you to introduce yourselves.
I'm Lawrence, lead guitar and lead vocals.
I'm Ed, bassist and backing vocals.
And I'm Alex on the drums.
Fantastic, guys. Let's dive straight in. Chambers, how did you guys come about that name for the band?
Well, when we first started playing together and we didn't really know our instruments very well, the first song we could ever and only play was Molly's Chambers. So we just kind of nicked the last bit from that. And then that's where it came from.
Fantastic. How did you guys sort of form together? Are you sort of like a newly formed band? Did you go to sort of college or something together? How did that all happen?
Well, how it happened was Lawrence got in contact with me about 6 or 7 years ago looking for a drummer for a band that he was forming. And then when I joined together with Lawrence, we formed the band that was as yet nameless. And we needed a bass player. So Lawrence convinced Ed, his younger brother, to spend all his 14th birthday money on a bass guitar, and that's where.
Nothing about it.
And that's where.
And did he pay for lessons as well, or?
No, I taught him and just told him follow this, and that's what he did.
All right.
Play by numbers.
Yeah.
Well, that's fortunate, Ed, because the minimum age for coming on this programme is 14. Especially if you're a younger brother. If you're not a younger brother, then you don't have to be any particular age. Yeah.
And some minimum age for some gigs actually is about.
Yeah, that was hard when we first started gigging. Was trying to convince a pub to let your little brother play when he's 15, 16.
Yeah, because I think at Firebug, isn't that?
Yeah, we had to lie a few times.
Oh,
yeah.
How are you finding it? So in that case, because you've been around, like you say, about 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
So how old were you then?
I'm 21 now.
Oh, I see. So you're about 14, 15 then. Oh, I see. So that problem's gone and dusted.
He was 14, Kevin, when they got together.
Yes,
so
I've
otherwise
got
he
it
would have been
now.
6 when they got together.
Impressive if it was.
You're a bit of a protege.
So what's the genre of the music, guys?
It's like blues rock / a bit blues punky, because we all like a lot of different things, different styles, and we just kind of bring them together. And as long as we're happy with each other's bits and the bits we're playing, it's just we don't try and say this song has to be that. It's just as long as everyone's happy with what they want to play.
I quite like the sound actually. It sounded quite raw, didn't it? Quite natural.
Yes, yeah. We like it being raw, and we like it when we record doing it live. And we did our EP in our local village at a studio around there, and that's it. Just like we said, we want to capture that raw live sound and just have it gritty and dirty, and that's how we like it to sound. We think it lends itself to the style quite nicely instead of having it all polished and clean.
So you've been around a few years now. Do you restrict yourself to playing in Leicester, or have you broadened your horizon, gone elsewhere?
Well, we played in London a few times.
Oh, right, yeah.
And we met that came down here, and they asked us to go and play in London with them, so we went there twice.
3 times I think we've been there now, haven't we?
I think 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So that's they call it gig swapping, don't they? I think. Yeah.
Yes.
So you nick their fans and they nick yours.
Yeah, we quite like doing that. That's fan stealing.
Fan swapping.
So what would you say is your favourite venue so far in Leicester that you played in? Because you played in a couple now, haven't you? I've seen, like you say, I've seen you in the seen you in the old shed. Have you played in the new shed?
Yeah,
We have, yes.
we love it there now.
Yeah.
You prefer the new one to the old one?
Yes, we played the new the upstairs stage and the basement stage, which is we enjoy both of them for their different reasons, really.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's get some of that goodness live on air. So I'm just going to give you guys a moment to set up. And the first track you're going to play for us live is called Black Spit. Take it away.
Ready, boys? Black spit, black spit running through my mind. This could be it. This could be my time. I'm too young to go this way.
That's Black Spit from Chambers. Guys, what do you guys write about? And do you write all your own stuff? Do you do cover versions?
I mean, when we first started kind of playing as a band, it was mostly covers, just to be able to play together, really, because we couldn't really play very well. And then we started writing our own songs, and we all write each other's bits, really.
Right.
We don't kind of stick it to Ed has to play the bass and write the bass. Like Alex has written bits for the guitar, and we've had ideas for the drums. And then lyrics we kind of share as well. I write most of them, but I kind of come to the other two and ask for they do all the cool lines, basically, and ask for like what would go well here, and they write all the cool bits.
We do the editing.
Yeah.
With a rhyming thesaurus.
But what's the best bit? What's the best bit about being in a band or in the band?
I think personally, it's the fact we get on outside of the band. Like we all love the same things, and like we love to just sit around and go to the pub together without having to play music. So we like to spend time together without having it to be with the music. And then that kind of comes to the music, because then it just makes it even better to play music with your best mate and your brother.
And what's the worst bit?
Being with your best mate and your brother. Like,
Anything from you guys? In terms of the goodness or
I
the
think
bits that...
it's slightly different for me, obviously, because I'm in a three-piece band with two brothers. So there was always going to be an element of I'm either going to sink or swim here. I'm either going to get on with them really well, and we're always going to get on, or it's going to be kind of shunting out to the side. But luckily, like these two, they're both idiots, but they're lovable idiots, and I'm an idiot just the same. So we get on. We all get on really well.
You're like the adoptive brother now.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been there that long.
Can you give us a bit of a flavour for some of the sort of gigs and venues that you performed at?
We play a lot like local pubs to our local village and area, don't we?
Yeah, we play every last Sunday of the month. We play local Cosby pub, and we play a lot of regular gigs with sort of the musician.
Because you were at Cosby Fest, weren't you, a couple of weeks
yes,
ago? Right?
Yeah.
These two live in Cosby, so that's where the band's based. We're a quaint village band.
So if things go well, which I'm sure they will, where do you see yourselves in like a year's time and maybe 3 years' time?
In a pub.
No, just enjoy. Like, as long as we enjoy doing what we're doing together still, then we don't really mind where we play. I mean, as long as like the crowds seem to be getting better all the time, and the venues seem to be getting better, and the responses seem to be getting better. But as long as we enjoy it, then that's good with us. So
That's the main
unless
thing.
you two want to chip in and say something different about that.
I'm completely fine. I'm fine with the pub option, to be honest.
Finally, where can our listeners get more information about the band, your music?
Well, we've got a Facebook page. Our last EP is on Spotify. If you search Chambers.
Now, your Facebook page, there's several Chamberses, isn't there? How do we get you then?
We have had that dilemma. We did hyperlink it to chambers.mus.midlands or / I think it's dot, to try and separate us from the fact that there are a lot of other bands called Chambers.
Right.
But if you're in the local Leicester area, I mean, we're tagged in a lot of events that are coming up, so our page should be the first suggested. But if not, just Instagram as well, and then if you find us on Spotify, our Spotify page is linked to our Facebook page.
Great, guys. Well, we're going to hear one more track from you, so I'll just let you get set up for that. And that's called Pour Another. Lawrence, maybe you can give us a bit of an insight into this song. What is it about? What is there a story in there?
Lyrics wise, I kind of write vicariously through my friends, and so I kind of put myself in their position. And it's just about kind of being in a bar, and they're kind of a hint of a fight about to kick off, and just trying to diffuse it by having another drink while someone's trying to start a fight with your brother, basically. And they just kind of built it from there.
This song kind of contradicts what Lawrence said about the music writing process earlier, because this is the one that I wrote.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I wrote all of the music for this song, and then Lawrence.
I just did the words.
So.
Fantastic. Well, take it away, guys. Pour Another.
Are you ready, boys?
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Is gonna change this place. yourself another drink, boy. 'Cause my heart has been foolish, and my heart don't feel like you said. You pulled a pistol on me, try to take me from this place. You made lunch for my brother. I'm gonna show you that was a mistake. You better pour yourself another drink, boy. My heart has been foolish. My heart don't feel like you said. The bruises if the fist stays there. Won't you take me out of here? The bruises if the fist stays there. Won't you take me out of here? My heart has been foolish, and my heart don't feel like you said. My heart has been foolish, and my heart don't feel like you said.
Yeah, that was Chambers. Grateful of them to come into the studio. They were our first guest on Live, Local and Loud today. And I'd just like to say once again, thank you guys.
Thank you, cheers.
Here's another one of their tracks, Watch Out for the Witch.
Show how and turn around. I'm gonna show you how it ought to be. I'm gonna walk this lonely road. I wanna see you next to me. Show how and turn around. I'm gonna show you how it ought to be. And I'll see you one way whether you float or drown. Watch out, jump on the wedge. Watch out, it's a hairstyle and twist. Watch out, jump on the wedge. Watch out, it's a hairstyle and twist. Just walk away. My turn out, show you how. I'm gonna show you how it ought to be. Return the swan.
Live, local and loud with Jazz Minhas and Kevin Gaughan on Demon FM, and you're listening to Demon World. And it's a special feature that we bring you once a month-ish, where we share with you some of the great local music from the local music scene in and around Leicester. Here's Dig Lazarus.
Time has come, put your feet in your shoes, you have the time to choose. My ears are burning, your eyes are learning as you begin to understand. This is our land now, we're raising the flag and we'll never take it down. Our final stand, you can take it back home as it started with a hand. Take my hand and I'll take your soul. There's no way back to the life that you love. Kiss goodbye to your friends and your family. Hands off me, heaven and not much to me. There she goes, putting on her makeup and her brand new clothes, hoping that's enough for one of those lads to buy drinks from the bar. Though they won't get very far, 'cause she's a glitz and a glamour. If only I could have her. I'm packing my tools 'cause she's a spanner in the works, and I don't want to make things worse. Yeah, she's a glitz and a glamour, if only I could have her. I'm packing my tools 'cause she's a spanner in the works, and I don't want to make things worse. I don't want to make things worse. And then she sees another guy on the dance floor. She's such a tease, acting like a little with no receipts, full of deceit. It's in her eyes, with no regrets. She just forgets. It's no surprise that she's
Glitz and Glamour, that's the Shrines on Demon FM, and we're just moments away from our next guest in the studio. That's Robson. We're going to have a track from Scam, and then we will be talking to Robson and Cav.
This song's written about hard times.
Does it feel like? What does it feel like when I'm away? Time is a healer. Time is a healer, that's what they say. We don't have long left. We don't have long left to save this day. We're facing a journey. Facing a journey from my body. I am broken. Like angels in my ears. Heal me, make me stronger. Take me away, yeah, yeah, yeah. What does it feel like? You already know that much is true. Facing the demons, facing the demons I face with you. We don't have long left. We don't have long left to save this love. Facing a journey, facing a journey through my body. Heal me, I am broken. Oh, right next to me, amazing. Take it away. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Scam on Demon FM. We're live, local and loud, and here's the first track from our next live guest. That's Robson, Around Town.
See it rolls right into the show. Tell ourselves we can take no more. they just drive us mad. How many chances must they have? And the rules change daily, there's no control. We end up with nowhere to go. It's too late now. I'm always wearing a dark frown. It's too late now. I'm always wearing a dark frown around town, around town.
That's Robson, Around Town. They're live here in the studio on Live Local and Loud on Demon World on Demon FM. Hello, guys.
Hello, how you doing?
Hello there.
Morning.
All good, thanks. Let's get you do some quick intros. We'll go around the room.
Right, I'm Asa, a writer, producer. I play keys.
I'm Craig. I play the drums.
I'm Greg, co-produce, play bass, play guitar, sing, make tea.
And I'm Cav, and I'm guessing on bass, guitar, and do a bit of vocals.
Fantastic. First of all, why did you guys decide to choose the name for the band, Robson?
It's after my favourite footballer growing up, Brian Robson.
Cool.
Yeah. I'd wondered that, yeah. Oh, okay, because I know you're into football, looking at your Facebook page. But yeah, just a bit.
So who's your favourite team? If Robson's...
The greatest football club in the world, Manchester United.
But not the greatest, necessarily the greatest current manager. Well, okay, we won't talk about that.
Anyway, moving on.
What's the sort of style and the influence of your music? Where does it all come from?
It's quite varied, but the main influences were New Order, Massive Attack, Uncle, Ian Brown, Death in Vegas. But yeah, it's quite varied.
You mentioned, Asa, you mentioned the word project. Does that kind of tell us how the band came about? Can you give us a bit of an insight into that?
Yeah, well, it started off with I was living in London, and I'd been in quite a few bands in London, but I wanted to start writing myself. And so I started to write at work on top of a lift. And then I ended up coming to record with Greg. And then I decided that I didn't really want it to just be the same people on the songs. I wanted to bring different guests in, like Massive Attack have done and like Gorillaz do. So I wanted it to be more like an open project to anyone who we thought would really work for each track.
So what? Apart from Cav, what guests have you had in, and who you got in mind?
So we've got a girl that I met in LA called Danielle Espinosa. She sings lead vocals on 3 tracks. She sings backing on about 4 or 5. We've got Arnold Priddy, who used to be in FC20 with me in the coup.
Well, I remember them, yeah.
Then
right, so he's actually guesting as well.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. He sings on Burnt by the Flame,
right.
Which is going to be, we're going to be playing that later, I think.
Excellent.
Yeah. Then we've had different people playing bass, drums. We've had people coming in doing percussion.
So who sang on that song there then, Around Town, that we just
That's
played?
Greg.
Oh, right, that was Greg. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Oh, okay, well done. And I was just thinking, you've obviously, like you mentioned, several towns. It sounds like your influence from, well, you spend time in LA, London, and Leicester. So around town, is that around any one of those particular towns?
I wrote that in London.
Right.
But it is pretty. It was about. Yeah, all roads lead to Syston, don't they? Really, yeah. But yeah, it's about any town. It's just about us watching the news, just getting sick of seeing the same things over and over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So where do you spend most of your time these days, then, Asa? Is it because you're mostly from Leicester, aren't you?
Yeah. At the minute, I'm in Leicester. But who knows?
Hey, so what do you get in LA that you don't get in Leicester?
Sunshine.
and
He was my neighbour
celebrities
as well. He was my neighbour.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was like 5 minutes walk away from.
No,
my
seriously,
place.
when you go to LA, is it the studios? Is it the vibes? You know, I mean.
Yeah, it's where I just think when I'm writing in England, it's a bit because it is a different vibe. Yeah, when you're there, I get more creative when I'm there.
Do you go to any like gigs and stuff there just to get yourself a bit more in the zone, you know, as to what's going on over there?
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, there's other stuff, but
that is an interesting one, actually. How does the music scene differ from here to between here and there? Then here and LA?
Cav, do you want to?
It's I would say it's becoming more and more similar, but originally I would say that LA has more of an independent music scene. So as far as people, they do their own thing, they play shows and they just get on with it. They don't really sort of expect, I suppose, a record deal or whatever to give them, just the confidence to tour. They can tour on their own backs without having the support. It has that network there, and there's people there from all over the world. But I think the London scene's becoming a lot like that now as well, and it's really good to see so many bands in cities like Leicester, just doing their own thing. And
So when you perform in LA, in London, and Leicester, is it all the same delivery, or do you have to kind of change it a little bit?
Yeah, these are our first two shows.
Okay.
Live.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, so we've got so the songs what Danielle, the girl from LA, sings. We've got a girl from Leicester's coming in, Charlie Jones. So she's going to be singing. She's going to be singing
the vocals.
song. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna see how it goes. But yeah.
Anyway, guys, you got a new single. Give us a bit of insight. I think Cav, you wrote that. So what was kind of like the influence or the inspiration behind this song?
I mean, it happened really quickly. Again, I suppose similar to what Asa was talking about, just with everything that was going around in the world, the news, and just where I kind of think where we are sort of as a, human race, really, in the fact that we seem to be evolving in so many ways, but also going backwards in other ways. So it's like a Jekyll and Hyde song, struggle between good and evil. And there you go. And that's about it.
Cav, can you introduce the single? We're going to play it next.
Yes, this is called All the Love in the World, brackets, couldn't help you.
You're listening to Demon World with Jazz Minhas on Demon FM.
Jazz Minhas.
Chasers, spiritual leaders, psychic dealers.
That's the new single from Robson, All the Love in the World, and we've got them here in the studio. Let's talk a little bit about what gigs you guys got coming up, because you mentioned a couple there, Asa.
Yeah, so next Friday we're playing at the Y Theatre in Leicester, and then on
one
the
of my favourite venues, I hasten to add, in Leicester. What made you pick the Y Theatre actually? In Leicester?
To be honest, I didn't really know where we wanted to do it. I went and had a look at a couple of places, but it's just changing. It's changed a lot, like the live scene in Leicester.
Quite a few gone and others come up.
Yeah, so I just thought, the Y Theatre is my favourite venue, so I just thought we'd do it there.
So that's going to be a fantastic gig. Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, and then we're playing the night after. We're playing at the Water Rats in London for This Feeling. Yeah, they're both for This Feeling.
Whereabouts is that in London?
In King's Cross.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's got a nice atmosphere as well, isn't it? That's a bit smaller though, isn't it, than
the
Y Theatre? Oh, interesting. So why did you pick a smaller venue in London?
Both of the nights are under This Feeling. It's the club night that's one of the biggest club nights now for indie music in England, and I told them about the Y Theatre, so we booked that, and then they suggested the Water Rats for the London show. So so I've played there a few times before, and it's always good sound, good night. So yeah.
Excellent. I must admit so you must be quite excited then about debuting in your hometown Leicester.
Yeah. Excellent. We're ready.
Yeah.
How did Robson come together as a band?
So basically, when I had the songs, I started to work with Greg and recording with him, and then further down the line, when we had the songs and we knew we was going to start to do it live, then we started to think of how we was going to do it and who we wanted to work on it. And I used to be in a band with Craig in London, so we thought we need to get him on board.
I'll come down from up north.
And then so
okay, I mean, you got the gigs, obviously you got a new single, so it's all happening for you at the moment. What else are you working on? What's the new stuff that's in the pipeline?
Well, to be honest, the main focus has been on these shows. We've got a lot of music that's been done and finished. So the focus was really getting the single out, and then working on the live set.
With the shows, is there like audio visual, or is it purely the on-stage performance that you're focusing on?
So for the Leicester show, there's going to be visuals, which we've been working on. But for the Water Rats, I don't know if we're going to be able to have the visuals for that. I don't think so, but yeah, for the Leicester one, there will be.
You don't really need them with Cav around, though. He puts on a pretty good show, doesn't he? Seen him a few times with the old guitar.
It's just you've got some really good musicians in this band.
Yeah.
I mean, like Greg. I mean, I've known Greg since I remember being at a barbecue, and he was the first person I'd ever met with a mobile phone. So you can imagine how long ago that was. And then Asa. We've known each other since he was trying to get into a garage, I remember, at a party, and he was a 16-year-old lad then, and that was in Syston. Just met Craig, but and played with him for the first time yesterday, and what a fantastic drummer. Greg's got like one of the best voices, I've ever heard. So you've got some entertaining musicians,
and I guess it's like playing with your mates, isn't it? So you relax and get into the music and do your own thing.
It's brilliant, having a chance to play with real friends.
It must be a real pain though, because you've got all these people guesting. So for each song, you have to like get Cav off, get Charlie Jones on, and make sure they can all make it as well.
No, we're on for the whole thing. I think Charlie's just coming on for one song.
Yeah. But it'll be we've worked it all out.
But you've got to get a lot of people together though for each gig though, surely.
Yeah, but
that's why there's
all these
two.
Guests.
That's why there's two at the moment.
That's it.
Yeah, no, we just you got to come and see what it looks like. But
yes.
Yeah, we're confident it's going to work.
It's the outfits that'll really do it. I mean, the thing is,
all right.
I mean, we've spent a lot of time on sort of working on. Greg's wife, Jamie, she works in fashion and she designs a lot of stuff. So she's been sort of working on her outfits and stuff. And
it's very reminiscent of the Borat Borat sort of.
Right, nice. Yeah. Well, the man
it's the leotards and cycling shorts. Look.
So on a positive trajectory, guys, if things go really well for you, which I'm sure they will, where do you see things in like a year's time or 3 years' time?
Just I don't know really. Just
expanding more venues and so on, or
yeah, we want to just keep progressing and get the music out, and we've had really good reactions so far from for what we've put out. We really believe in it, and just looking forward to getting the rest of it out. See where we go. Finally,
where can listeners get more information about your music, the band?
We've got a Facebook page, and there's Instagram and Twitter. The Facebook page, I think, if you just put in Robson, you'd find it. I think
music.
Yeah, Robson Music UK. I think, and then it's the same on Instagram and Twitter.
Fantastic, guys. Yeah. Asa, Craig, Greg, and guesting Cav from Happy Mondays and many other previous experiences. It's been fantastic having you on the show. If I can get one of you to introduce the final track, tell us a little bit of an insight into what the lyrics tell us and so on. It's Burnt by the Flame.
So this is Burnt by the Flame with guesting of Arnold Priddy. I believe the lyrics were something he wrote in his early days of various situations in life, let's say. Make your own conclusions when you hear the lyrics, but yeah, Burnt by the Flame.
Fantastic. Thank you, Robson.
Simply said I should be dead from the life I led. Man, I ran it red. Blood, sweat and tears I shed. Always hiding from mad heads, ones who put bods to bed. Once I started, couldn't stop. 20s to 30s, one big flop. Heart nearly stopped, that's when I dropped to my knees. I begged him, please give me a squeeze. Can't take the pain no more. Burnt by the flame, this ain't no game no more. I'm always feeling raw. My head is always sore. My head is always sore. If I could turn back the clock, I might have blanked that first rock, never taken that first drink. But then I stop and think, would I be me today, here today, or far away? I just can't say, I just can't say. My back's against the wall, my time is running out. I've got to squash these doubts, make up my mind for once. This comes to everyone, before I crash and burn, practice the things I've learned.
Demon FM 107.5.
107.5.
Elvis Presley on Demon FM, Burning Love. I have with me Cav, a local musician, highly accomplished. Cav, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're a Leicester lad, Cav. Tell us about that.
I mean, grew up in Leicester, in Ayleston, and then Oadby, and that's it really. I mean, not much, not that much of a crazy, upbringing or anything.
So how did you get into music, Cav? Because was that kind of like your first choice of things? Was there any sort of expectation on you to do anything in particular, in terms of family and so on? Or
well, I was really lucky. I had such a great granddad, and obviously, I come from a sort of Sikh, Indian, British military sort of background kind of family. But I was really lucky. I had such a great granddad. He was just, he just sort of really, he used to pick me up from school and stuff, and just gave me the confidence to do whatever I wanted to do, like for example, like playing football, but I wasn't very good at football, but he gave me, get out there and give it everything you've got kind of thing. And, I suppose growing up in Ayleston at the time, being the only, slightly, brown kid, I suppose, it was, at my school, football was an interest in, kind of education into getting kicked and stuff. So that was that was a good way to just give you confidence. So I think that was quite important. And then music, my auntie, my mum's youngest sister, she moved away from England for a while, and she was a real 60s kind of kid, and she had a lot of Rolling Stones, Beatles, Bob Dylan records, Elvis records and stuff like that. And so I'd go home from school, I wasn't allowed to touch them, but before my parents came back from work, I'd managed to get onto the record player and just play all those records. So I was like 7-8 years old. So by the time I was 10 or 11, I was quite a huge Beatles and Stones fan, and by the time I was sort of 12 years old, 13, I was in my first band and playing guitar and bass and stuff. So yeah.
Did you do any sort of music learning as such, or did it all just kind of did you just learn it from others and learn it yourself?
Well, at Manor High School, my music teacher did say that I didn't have the right kind of sort of mentality to become a musician, because I couldn't listen to, basically I wouldn't do it like, I suppose, maths, for example. And so my first experience with being, taught music wasn't very good. And then I lasted about 3 weeks with having a guitar teacher. So I think the most important thing for me was to just not listen to anyone, express myself, and just play and watch great bands playing. And then before I knew it, it just seemed very natural. And that was it, really. It was just a real break from having to do everything else, going to school and maths, English, etc. Although, I'm interested in English language and all that kind of stuff now, but back then, it was just a little bit sort of, you wanted some excitement, and music was just something so incredible that excited you every day,
So did you kind of just start off solo? Did you dive straight into a band?
I was in a band, my first band, if you're ready for the name, it's fantastic. It was called Potent, and interesting. So that was when I was like 13 years old, and that was a band with my best friends in a garage on Severn Road in Oadby, and we used to terrorise the local sort of neighbourhood, playing Metallica and Nirvana covers. And then after that, I started my own band because those guys didn't want to leave the garage and play a gig. So I played my first gig at the Charlotte on my own with, some new musicians, and that band was called Underdog. So I was going through this interesting name process, and then I started a band called Weave, which we got a national lottery grant. That really helped, and that band sort of began to take off, and all the major labels sort of started getting excited about that band, and that's where I met a lot of Ace's friends, people who became very close to, people like Gaz Adams, who plays bass actually on one of the tracks on the record, and met people like that who used to come to my gigs a lot, and for whatever reason, the band changed from Weave to AKA Weave, and that band went on, and musicians like Mikey Shine, who plays in Black Grape with Sean Ryder now, who I played in the Mondays with for about 3 or 4 years as well, and people like that, they're the people I was working with, and that band sort of had a lot of interest from rock and roll legends. That's where I started to meet people from bands like the Smiths and New Order and Oasis and Happy Mondays, because they would come to our shows and stuff. So
fantastic. Kev, we're going to have a track that you've chosen from the Smiths, and we'll chat some more.
The sun and the air of a shyness that is criminally vulgar. I am the sun and air of nothing in particular. You should know, how can you say I go about things the wrong way? I am human and I need to belong, just like everybody else does. Sun and the air of a shyness that is criminally vulgar. I am the sun and air of nothing in particular. You should know, how can you say I go about things the wrong way? Everybody else does.
Jazz Minhas chatting with the highly accomplished local musician Cav, who spends his time between Leicester and LA. Cav, you've obviously you told us how you kind of started off. Tell us a little bit about the Happy Mondays thing. How did that happen, and what did it mean for you?
Well, I think how it happened was I was in a Leicester band called AKA Weave, which I mentioned before, and we were on tour, and Sean Ryder, the singer of the Happy Mondays, was basically on tour with us, and he became a good friend, and he would get on stage with us, and when that band split up and I moved to London, I started a club night and a music festival called Get Loaded in the Park, which was one of the first sort of independent festivals that was coming out, not challenging, but sort of adding itself to the festival calendar alongside Glastonbury and V Festival and Reading and Leeds. So we did that, and Happy Mondays headlined that festival. But just before they agreed to do it, Sean asked me to play guitar, so I joined on guitar, and then I thought it was only going to be just one gig, but it ended up sort of touring with them all over the world, and it was a real learning experience and just a fantastic thing to do. And I did that for 4 years, and that was great.
So give us a quick whistle-stop tour of what's happened since then. Where are you now?
So now I did my solo stuff, which was just released under KAV, and I've been doing that mainly for the last few years, working on obviously the Robson stuff, and now I've recently started a new band called Blitz Vega, which is a band with a really good friend of mine, Andy Rourke, who's a bass player from the Smiths, and we were actually talking about him coming and playing on some of my stuff, and then we just thought, why don't we just start a new band, because he lives in New York, I live in LA, and we're both in the same country, so it just seemed like a really good thing to do. So we've been recording the album for the last year, and it's nearly done, and hopefully we'll be touring with that band next year.
Finally, Cav, who are some of the other sort of bands, the bigger bands that you've guested with in the past?
A Norwegian band called Data Rock, really great band. Loved playing with those guys. Actually, played Summer Sunday here with them, and also a really good friend of mine, Zombie Boy, who unfortunately passed away 2 or 3 weeks ago, but he was from Montreal and just a really, really great guy, and so I toured and recorded and produced and worked with him basically for a couple of years as well, and played with a lot of people, House DJ, Tall Paul, many people. I can't remember everyone right now, but I'm always sort of playing.
Fantastic, Cav. It's been a pleasure, Cav. Thanks for coming in today. And of course, you've got your collaboration going on with Robson as well. And we wish you all the best with that, and best luck for the future, and keep on producing the good stuff.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
This is Demon FM.